You and I are constantly bombarded by misinformation from politicians, celebrities, and media personalities who demonize guns and gun owners. Their accounts are contrary to my experience as a responsible gun owner, a retired police officer, and a professional competitive shooter. I have listened to their lies and I've taken their punches, but I refuse to stay silent any longer because I know a lot of women who have something to say and they won in the game. They're ready to play offense with the truth.
The truth is, we all want the same thing: to protect ourselves, our families, and to be safe in our communities. The DC Project is a nationwide grassroots organization made up of women from every demographic. We come from all different walks of life, but we are united in preserving our Second Amendment rights. As we share our experiences, we push back against gun control lies and oppose those who demand our rights be restricted.
As an immigrant from Venezuela, I saw how easy it was for freedom to die. My family and I watched tyranny destroy our home. In Venezuela, the media, celebrities, and politicians repeated the same anti-gun messages until people found it normal and acceptable to give up their freedoms. The reality is, none of it is normal or acceptable. Hungry and helpless, Venezuelans are now unable to protect themselves. Now, as a proud American, I am determined to guard against the same things happening here.
We constantly hear about common sense gun control, like universal background checks, banning assault weapons, ghost guns, high-capacity magazines, and gun show loopholes. Every city that is facing massive crime waves have put these policies into place. Common sense tells me that they don't work. So why do people still believe the idea that those policies save lives? Actual common sense is holding criminals accountable, not letting them out of jail or encouraging them to be more confrontational. Common sense is not stealing the right of the American people to protect themselves. This is the message that America needs to hear.
The DC Project works to reduce firearm accidents by campaigning for education in schools. We counter the false gun control lies by testifying in hearings and meeting our legislators. We equip our friends, our families, and our communities to know the truth. Gun owners are good people.
America is a beacon of freedom. The Second Amendment is vital piece in ensuring that our kids can have a free country to grow up in. We stand with the lawmakers who support the Constitution, and we provide armor from the attacks by the gun control lobby.
Join the DC Project today. Become a member, donate, or subscribe to our newsletter for updates on how we educate, advocate, and preserve our Second Amendment rights for generations to come.
When people use a firearm in self-defense, they could be arrested or sued and face extensive legal costs. Firearms Legal Protection provides uncapped legal defense for any member who uses a legal weapon in defense of themselves or others, providing members with peace of mind in these difficult situations by covering all attorney fees and other benefits. Use code EOTT at firearmslegal.com for a discount on all membership plans. Protect yourself. We'll protect you.
stand by.
You hit the radio bullseye. And the home for everything Second Amendment, concealed carry, the latest gear, reciprocity, legislation, the right to self-protection, and it shall not be infringed. This is Eye on the Target Radio with your hosts, Rob and Amanda.
Hey folks, welcome to the Sunday show, Eye on the Target Radio. We are so glad to be here. There's so much to talk about. With guns and Second Amendment, and I'm just like, I was talking to somebody this week, and I think I bored them. I started talking about Supreme Court, and they were in law school, and they're like, yeah, I don't know nothing about any of that.
Well, the thing is, few people pay attention to ballistics or to rifling or to
Supreme Court
cases.
Are you putting my Supreme Court fixation right next to your rifling fixation? Is that what you just did?
Glassing their eyeballs over when you start to explaining, and especially when you're so excited that you start talking faster and faster, and they just don't seem to get it or something.
You're right. I know, though. It's like we're winning. There's so much cool stuff that is going on. It's like, are you paying attention? Are you seeing it?
Well, I think that some people don't even realize what the Supreme Court is about, and so
what?
They don't. There's some that don't even know there is a Supreme Court.
Well, there is that.
So they got like 5 layers of man. I think that they don't know there is a Supreme Court. They don't know what the Supreme Court does. They don't care what the Supreme Court does.
They don't know.
The Supreme Court does whatever they want against whatever these guys' wishes are, or the other one's like, we're winning.
We're winning. Yeah, so we're 20%. We're winning. We are winning. So there's just so many cool things, but it's just so funny because it was like,
Hawaii is going to feel the wrath of the Supreme Court, I think, soon.
Yes.
I mean, I watch this stuff.
They're not winning.
I just watch it. It's like, you've got to be kidding, right? You're not going to pay any attention to what they have to say and just say
Supreme Court. Hawaii pretty much said the Supreme Court does not apply to us because we just don't think it's that cool, right? Is that kind of what you got out of it? They're like, that's just not the Hawaii way.
We're not feeling it.
We're not feeling it. It's not Hakuna Matata or whatever that is. They're just not feeling it, and so they're just going to do what they want to do, and that pesky Supreme Court that's clear across the country.
The funny part is that I think that we're going to see that a lot more places are feeling it.
I know, it's great. Clarence Thomas is going to be, he's going to be like, don't make me pull over this car.
New York, New Jersey, Wisconsin, all these people are going to feel a little bit of sting from this stuff. So I think in the long run,
Clarence Thomas is reaching into the back seat of the car and he is smacking everybody he can reach, right? Whatever that is. Doesn't matter which one of those kids is back there, you just pass this on.
Wisconsin's head's just going to bang off of New York's head.
Great. Yeah, I'm going to smack one of you kids, and then you smack the other ones, right? We'll all be good. But that's sort of it. But I was like, you're going to be a lawyer. You're living in your best life. It's in the very best time. Look at this. You could be.
If they were as excited as you were, then they would be like the best lawyer on the planet.
I know.
But because they're not
they're
not going to be.
No, it's so sad.
I got to go to work.
It's so sad. There's such potential. There is some sense.
The other part of it is you think about it, if you're going to go to be a lawyer now. I mean, Kavanaugh set such a high standard when they were saying, well, we want to know what he did in college or something in 1981.
My diary and my calendar book.
My calendar. Like, who documents and saves all of this stuff unless you plan on putting your own museum up someday or something?
I'm going to be famous, and so
I looked at that museum.
I looked at that, and it is either somebody who is very, very, very organized,
or his mother was one of those that she just pack rat and saved every.
Oh no, I was just thinking, or he's never cleaned his room and he's over there digging like the doggy paddle, saying, "I know it's over here somewhere." Right? He gets done with it and he just flings it
looks like
to the corner.
What's that old cartoon with the owl that used to sit at the editor's desk, and the stacks of papers were
And then it was
to the ceiling.
right. That's it. I just visualize him over there doggy paddling in the corner where he threw all of those, going.
But I was
think
thinking,
up there somewhere.
if you're in law school today, you cannot meet those standards.
I do not recall.
Yep.
I do not recall is no longer an acceptable answer.
Yeah, even Albertie's probably got those little pieces of paper that come in your cookie after the Chinese dinner too. So
Maybe. I was thinking he still has a stack of like track phones and flip phones and.
Right, but they're all stapled to his calendar, so we know which day he got them.
I'm not going with the fact that the good ones I taped to the refrigerator. Wait. Don't look at my refrigerator.
Only the good ones, huh?
Only the good ones. Yeah, I am selective. I'm a selective pack rat, right? But there is that.
I don't need that negativity.
None of that negativity. Well, and some of them are stupid. Some of them are just plain, it's Tuesday. And here's a cookie, right?
That's how my life goes. Tuesday is a cookie. It was probably left over from Sunday, so it's stale cookie even.
I don't know, but I'm not even putting that on the refrigerator. I don't, because 6 days out of 7, it's wrong. And where's my cookie? So no. So what have you been doing firearms related? Anything?
Oh, I switched out my bag gun, so I had to just dump out all my old bullets and put all brand new fake bullets in, and I switched over to my spring gun. Let's put it that way.
Okay, that's a plan. I've been kind of making a stack of guns because I've got a few, and then some of them are like, this one needs a repair, and this one needs new sights, and this one needs this one. Yeah. So I've got them coordinated
It's funny because sometimes it's not convenient to just wear a gun on me all the time, so I just have a gun in a bag I carry around with me. And so sometimes me and Amanda be going somewhere, so I'm like, stop! I got to get my gun out of my car, out of the house, or whatever. I'm leaving. I got to go back in and grab my bag.
I got to get my bag. I can't leave it. Right? Well, and that's the responsibility.
Well, it's got my gun. It's got my sandwich. It's got a couple of bucks in there just in case I hate walking.
Think about that. That is. You now know the trials and tribulations of purse carry.
Right.
You cannot leave it alone. You can't leave it in the corner.
Except for my purse weighs like 21 pounds.
Well, when you put a gun in it, yes, it does. And a sandwich.
Yeah.
So the combination. I don't have a sandwich in mine.
My 1911 and 7 magazines. It's like weighing me down.
Oh, I know what I wanted to tell you. Speaking of purse carry, I went to an event the other day. Maybe I told you this last week. I went to an event and there was a guy checking purses as they walked in. Did I tell you this?
Yeah, and he was somewhat clueless to purses at all.
Right, and so he was clueless to purses, and so he's looking with a flashlight in my purse, and I'm like, what are you looking for? And he said, for a gun, and I'm like, you wouldn't find it in there. We'll just read that as clue, dude. Right? Okay. And he was like, oh, okay. And so he puts his flashlight away. And I just kind of looked at him for a minute and I said, this is a concealed carry purse. Though I am not carrying, when you are looking at a purse, you want to look at the outside as well as the inside. And when you see these 2 zippers, that is a big clue that it is a concealed carry purse, that when you look inside, you will not see the gun.
Now it's to squeeze the whole purse so you see if it's
something in there. Once again, it weighs 27 pounds because there's stuff in it. But okay.
But you can tell a pocketbook from a 1911 and when you're squeezing it. And
so there is some of that. The interesting part was he was also looking for knives, but he didn't say that. And it wasn't in my purse.
Oh, I figured
because I was going to some place that I couldn't have a gun because I expected to have a drink, so I had a knife. But okay. But so afterwards, I was talking to somebody who works for the sheriff's department, and so I told them the story, and I was like, "Look, I just in case you wanted to know that." And he's like, we do continuing education all the time with our officers, but I don't know that we've ever done anything like that. So I think I'm lined up to, in effect, do a concealed carry fashion show of sorts for the police department. Because we need to educate them. I know some of it is, they're not the enemy. but it is like a psyop kind of
Well,
thing.
some of it is the fact that they don't. If you're not around them or you don't understand it, new technology every day is getting
Right.
Uh,
Right. And
should I say slipperier, or getting better, or getting?
well, it's kind of all of that stuff, but it was not a lot of people, I guess, run into people like me because I'm like, sure, and so I'm standing in line to get into this venue.
If I was breaking the law, I would show you how I was breaking the law.
I'm going to show you exactly how I am showing that to you.
That sounds like that joke where the guy's like pushing a wheelbarrow full of stuff out the door all the time. And they're like, "What are you stealing?" And he's like, "Wheelbarrow."
Right. Every day he's got a wheelbarrow full of something, and they look in there for something. Right. What's in there? Finally, they're like, I know you're stealing something. What are you stealing? Oh, the wheelbarrow. Got it. Okay. We'll be back right after these messages.
Okay, you ask yourself, who is this Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition, and what do they do? Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition is a not-for-profit group based in Portage County, registered as a 501c3, and organized to educate about the historical intent of the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America, to share knowledge, to enable citizens to accurately relate and defend aspects of the U.S. Constitution, to enhance public awareness and support for responsible gun ownership, and to emphasize firearms education for women who facilitate the transmittal of constitutional awareness and gun ownership to succeeding generations. How do they intend to do that? By talking to you all and having you talk back, by hosting educational summits and events. So tune in, listen, and participate. RealizeFAC.com.
Your front door, your car, your gun. Safety is a habit. Gun safety and responsible storage are no different, and the best way to help prevent accidents, misuse, and theft. Cable locks help keep firearms secured. Learn how to get a free firearm safety kit. Visit projectchildsafe.org. If you have a firearm, own it, respect it, and secure it. Brought to you by the National Shooting Sports Foundation and the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
I'm Charlie Cook from Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Conversations in the car about gun safety, freedoms, and even a few laughs. Imagine you're in the backseat listening to an intimate chat with me and my passengers as we drive all around the country. Listen, watch, and subscribe to the Riding Shotgun with Charlie YouTube channel and podcast.
Grab your friends and head to Georgia to train with the Complete Combatant. The Complete Combatant offers a unique approach to self-defense training, layering the first signs of danger, lethal versus non-lethal decisions, and even surviving the aftermath. They offer premier firearms training with a range master certified instructor and host the top minds in our industry. See the courses offered on thecompletecombatant.com. That's thecompletecombatant.com.
Are you interested in firearms? Are you looking for a resource to help you understand guns? Trying to help someone who's new to the world of shooting? Hi, I'm John Petrolino, 2A writer and the author of Decoding Firearms, an easy-to-read guide on general gun safety and use. Decoding Firearms is a comprehensive book with 266 pages of information. Want to learn more? Visit thepenpatriot.com or get yours today on Amazon in paperback or Kindle.
Ladies, ever wish you could find a brand that understood the difference between feminine and functional? A brand that didn't make you choose between looking good and looking tough. Check out offhandgear.com, a brand designed by a gun girl / mom that closed the gap to give you feminine, durable, functional gear. Offhandgear.com, the brand that gets you.
We all know rust is bad. To help keep rust from forming on your firearms, tools, and other ferrous-based items, you want to have Rust is Bad in your gun-safe toolbox and anywhere you want to be rust-free. Rust is Bad bolsters and G-strings deposit small, safe particles that coat your rust-vulnerable items. Save your valuable items with Rust is Bad. Go to www.eyeonthetargetradio.com and follow the link for more information. That's www.eyeonthetargetradio.com for Rust is Bad.
Hey, so we are back, and this is typically where we do our history section, and we're gonna veer off because we're gonna talk about the fact that Virginia is going to lock in second for semi-autos for history. They are going to make it to where people understand where July 1 of 2024 is, like we knew the 1994 pre-ban, post-ban stuff.
It's so goofy the way that they worded their law and everything. It's like, we're going to make everything illegal except for, and then they list everything under the sun except for things built after July 1st of 2024. So it's like, why would they bother to, why wouldn't they just say, we're going to make all current semi-automatics after this date illegal?
Well, they sort of did that, but then they threw in, it was kind of very
The problem
weird.
that you have with all of this is they don't stamp a date on the stuff, so it's like 5 years from now somebody's going to have one that was it built before or after, blah, 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 and then like they say with the, if it's got a U, it's okay. If it's got a
Square,
W or something.
Right, it's all right.
So,
So all of a sudden, everybody's got to know every idiosyncrasy of manufacture in this. But so it went through the Virginia House of Delegates. Now it has to go to the Senate, and I don't.
the funny part is they're saying, well, we're not sure it's actually going to stand up under Bruin when the whole thing is. But then the one
Can I go back to talking about the Supreme Court again? Because I think they're
so
right.
funny,
I think they're right that they're going to be wrong.
But the one of the delegates he's so out of touch with reality that
Here,
he says
let me read this. His name is Helmer. His delegate Dan Helmer from Virginia said, I have never brought forth a bill that would infringe on constitutional rights. Okay, remember that this is a bill we're talking about that bans any firearm, any semi-automatic firearm manufactured after July 1 of 2024. I have never brought forward any bill that would infringe upon constitutional rights. You can't practice any of our other rights if you're not safe in your community, in your home, or in your home. And this bill simply ensures that we are. You're like, okay, we're back to the internet lady that says this is not how it works. This is not how any of this works because
everything that blows my mind about all of this assault rifle bills and everything like this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, has anybody ever watched John Wayne run a '92 Winchester? I mean, he doesn't need an AK-47.
You ever seen Jerry Micklick with a revolver?
Right.
Revolver?
We won World War I with bolt-action rifles, and we won World War II with an 8-shot rifle with wood on it. So it kind of surprised the whole group of them that they didn't need more than 10 shots. And
and they don't need the evil black rifle. So then they're like, see, we don't need the evil black rifle. Yeah, dude, that's the point is that
you're just lucky somebody's decided to use the evil black rifle instead of M1 on you. That's all there is to it, because
there's all that. But you just want to look at them and say, is this not like gun profiling? You know, in the world where we say that we don't select something based on the color of its skin.
And I can tell you, it doesn't really matter if it's an evil black rifle or an 1853 two-band Enfield. You don't want to get shot with one of them if at all possible, because it's not a holiday for you.
Remember, what was that one group years ago? The Mayors Against Errant Bullet Holes or something like that. It was like somebody named this, and it was like, well, that's a group we can get behind because we're against errant bullet holes too, right? I mean, most pro Second Amendment people are against random errant bullet
I have a
holes.
friend, and that's everything he says is, I wouldn't want to get shot with that. I wouldn't want to. I'm like, no, you don't. It's like I don't want to get hit with that hammer either.
Yeah, I don't want any of that stuff, right? I don't want you to slam my head in the door, right? I mean, there's all kinds of painful things that I don't want.
But the thing is, I mean, until everyone has a gun in their own pocket. You can't say that you're 100% safe, and even at that point,
even then
you're gonna. The first guy's gonna get shot. I mean, like it or not, because no one is on their toes.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that,
right,
when the whole room returns fire, it'll look like something off of a cartoon where the guy just stand there in a smoky hole-filled pile.
So we just sincerely hope that Virginia wakes up and they contact their senators, because that's really where this is right now.
I think in the long run, though, it's criminal control. We need criminal control. Once you catch somebody doing something bad, you need to do something about them. Whether you hold them, you make them an organ donor, you send them to the moon, whatever you do.
You need to take action, some kind of action. We'll just stop being descriptive about action, but criminal.
But I mean, it's not about the gun. It's about the nut behind the wheel, I believe is how they say it.
Right. It's about the instrument. It is about the person who uses the instrument to do harm, whatever that instrument is. Because we have seen axes and hammers and cars and,
If you look at the FBI statistics, you're more likely to be axed or screwdriver than you are to be shot in the long run. It's
I work construction with you. I'm gonna say, I'm calling it now. I'm gonna be screwdrivered. Maybe not on purpose, but I'm pretty sure that I'm gonna end up with one stuck in my hand.
They show you that old David and Goliath type slingshot thing where they spin it around and then they throw it. That may be the battery charger off that sawzall that gets you, because I about had enough of that thing.
There's a few tools that are just not playing well in the eye on the target construction hobby.
Now that's Virginia. South Carolina has more good news for everybody. They're working on a constitutional carry bill. One group says, here's what our ideas are, and they send the paper over to the Senate side. Right. The Senate says, well, we got better ideas, so we changed all stuff, and then they send it back, and instead of negotiation, it's like, oh, here's our original forms again, just in case you didn't read that right.
I can't hear you, la 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 la, and I'm not going to play with you.
So is that going to be that they're not going to, there's no compromise, so they're not going to get something happen? Or
think about it. They have the majority. The conservatives and Republicans have the majority in South Carolina. So right now they're both flexing, and so we'll see in the end who flexes. Maybe this is that thing where you got the two teenage boys that look at each other and are waiting for who's blinking first, or that punching contest in the arm until somebody says ow.
At least if they did a punching contest, it'd be a lot more fun to watch. I mean, they should put them up like that slapping thing that the Russians do.
There you go. That's politics for you. We'll be back right after this.
Grab your friends and head to Georgia to train with the Complete Combatant. The Complete Combatant offers a unique approach to self-defense training, layering the first signs of danger, lethal versus non-lethal decisions, and even surviving the aftermath. They offer premier firearms training with a range master certified instructor and host the top minds in our industry. See the courses offered on thecompletecombatant.com. That's thecompletecombatant.com.
Are you interested in firearms? Are you looking for a resource to help you understand guns? Trying to help someone who's new to the world of shooting? Hi, I'm John Petrolino, 2A writer and the author of Decoding Firearms, an easy-to-read guide on general gun safety and use. Decoding Firearms is a comprehensive book with 266 pages of information. Want to learn more? Visit thepenpatriot.com or get yours today on Amazon in paperback or Kindle.
Okay, you ask yourself, who is this Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition, and what do they do? Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition is a not-for-profit group based in Portage County, registered as a 501c3 and organized to educate about the historical intent of the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America, to share knowledge, to enable citizens to accurately relate and defend aspects of the U.S. Constitution, to enhance public awareness and support for responsible gun ownership, and to emphasize firearms education for women who facilitate the transmittal of constitutional awareness and gun ownership to succeeding generations. How do they intend to do that? By talking to you all and having you talk back, by hosting educational summits and events. So tune in, listen, and participate. RealizeFAC.com.
This is Cheryl Todd of Gun Freedom Radio, and I am proud to join Amanda Suffolcool and all the 50 women, one from each state, in our grassroots efforts to protect the Second Amendment as delegates of the DC Project. Grassroots organizations like the DC Project run on donations, so please consider donating to our GoFundMe/DC Project to keep the promise of freedom alive.
Shotgun with Charlie.
I'm Charlie Cook from Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Conversations in the car about gun safety, freedoms, and even a few laughs. Imagine you're in the back seat listening to an intimate chat with me and my passengers as we drive all around the country. Listen, watch, and subscribe to the Riding Shotgun with Charlie YouTube channel and podcast.
Ladies, ever wish you could find a brand that understood the difference between feminine and functional? A brand that didn't make you choose between looking good and looking tough. Check out offhandgear.com, a brand designed by a gun girl / mom that closed the gap to give you feminine, durable, functional gear. Offhandgear.com, the brand that gets you.
Your front door, your car, your gun. Safety is a habit. Gun safety and responsible storage are no different, and the best way to help prevent accidents, misuse, and theft. Cable locks help keep firearms secured. Learn how to get a free firearm safety kit. Visit projectchildsafe.org. If you have a firearm, own it, respect it, and secure it. Brought to you by the National Shooting Sports Foundation and the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
Okay, and we are back. So Rob came up with a story that you guys are going to absolutely love. It's New Jersey. Once again, remember that whole winning thing with Bruin. But this is a case of not in my backyard. We want gun shops. But this lady has decided that she does not want a gun shop in her neighborhood. And so one of the local residents filed a lawsuit to block the gun shop from Somerville, New Jersey, from doing business. She doesn't want it. And so during the borough council, so this is in Somerville, New Jersey, the borough's council, they kind of tossed them a bone, if you will, by instructing the local planning board to review the current zoning ordinance with an eye toward restricting gun stores from opening in the future. But that's not enough. They want this one, and it's like, no, they've already given this one okay. So the mayor, here's the reporter. This is priceless. This is absolutely priceless. The Mayor Brian Gallagher, he says that he is not allowed to comment on the issue because it is pending litigation. So, as pending litigation, it's a standard no comment. And then he goes on and he says, I understand the fear, I understand the anger, I absolutely get it. He says, I live in the neighborhood and I share your concerns about the store. That would be a comment. When he said, I'm not allowed to comment, I'm just going to say, that right there is quoted to you, is attributed to you, is a comment in the no comment zone. So they wrote it and they published it. So, does somebody not notice commenting in the no comment zone? Right? I mean, I don't get it. So yeah,
I think you missed that day in school. There again, your public school education has let him down.
it's let him down. But the interesting part is they don't want this gun store to open at the intersection of the same neighborhood with a drugstore, a bar, a liquor store, and the State Motor Vehicle Commission's office. It's not even a school.
Well, it's
right?
funny, if you look at later in the story, it says that she doesn't
You mean you look
really...
past the commenting of non-commenting?
Well,
Yeah.
she says her real objection isn't about the store's
It's
location.
It's mere existence.
Right, so-
I don't want you on my planet. You, off my planet, you go. Go, be gone, scoot, go. Right?
See, so they could have saved 2 pages of article by just putting that part in there.
No. But it's yeah. So she really wants to. Having a gun shop in town gives our town a look that we shouldn't have. What look is that? That we have business? That we I can't even draw a look that would be the look that we want to have with that.
But when I think about it, I mean, all I can think of is I want like a nice brick wall with some iron bars and a whole rack of like 1895 Mausers all chained up so that it looks like a sheriff's office from the 1890s
Well,
or something.
and then no, but I would figure
And then
out because I need another wall of evil black rifles
It would
just
look,
in row, just like the
think about
marching
it, it's like
soldiers.
it's like a savings plan as you put them all up there, and then it's also a decorative piece.
Mhm.
And then down the road, if you need your money, you can always
There you go.
redecorate and sell your collection that you have.
This is not the look we want for our neighborhood. We do not want a gun shop, and yeah, it shouldn't be a winning argument. The zoning has already been approved.
Well, that's the thing.
If
So,
she is successful
well, the
in
thing
shutting this
there's
down,
a couple layers to this. So, I
Mhm.
mean, if you remember back to FFL paperwork 101, right away you got to pass the zoning rules.
Right.
You have to. The neighbors have to be happy. The city fathers have to be happy. There's 100 different things that the
the
ATF
hoops you have to jump through make you look like Cirque du Soleil.
right, but
Right?
I mean,
There's a lot of hoops.
but I mean, the ATF is looking for a reason to say no. So if they can blame it on any one of the neighbors or whatever, they're all good with that. So it's a.
But it already went through all of that. It already got all that approval. They are ready to open. So, think about it. They are in there Easter Sunday painting to get
I think
everything
it's
all ready.
Ain't no stopping me now. I believe is I'm on the move. I think
That's kind of it. We're coming to town. Yeah, I just don't. I mean, these are the kind of people who need to show up to every meeting of the borough council to make sure that anything that is not acceptable to us in our community is not approved and allowed.
The thing is, if you don't pay attention to what happens next door, they'll do whatever they want with you, and so all of a sudden you have given your right to
you nod.
say I don't.
By not showing up, you nod in approval. Got
Right,
it.
So,
I get
so
that.
they can put a circle. What do they call it? A circle in instead of your intersection at the local.
Yeah, you're getting those.
And there's a
roundabouts.
Yeah, you
You're
put
getting a roundabout.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that normal people with a brain wouldn't want, but yet we get through non compliance or non usage of community services.
Yeah, no, it's
I got places to be, and the front of my TV is much more important than the county meeting.
So you just approve it by not, what are they?
By not-
Assumptive. I'm going to call it an assumptive close. So if you did not come, then I assume that it's all fine with you, and that whatever decisions I make are just fine, and that's what that is. So she needs to show up, but I want to see her vigorously defend that they don't want a donut shop because people are too fat, They don't want and just start picking out random things. They don't want a bank because somebody may get robbed.
Well, the thing is how long is it
randomly.
going to be before they don't want a gas station because of climate change, and then now you may have a car, but you can't buy gas anymore.
In that community, I'm there.
Well, and if it happens in that community, it can happen
everywhere.
The next
Right.
one because.
But that's what I think you have to show up. Reasonable people have to give some time, even if it's here's your whole family. Everybody take a turn, and somebody show up, and then you talk to each other. Right?
If you all go, you have enough. You have enough power in your Robert's Rules of Order to actually make a motion, vote on the motion, and control the meeting.
Yeah, but I want my life. So you go, and then you just do I'll do a class. You just do a motion to hold it to the next meeting, and then we'll all show up. That way, somebody goes as the sentinel.
But some of those meetings have a thing where you have to be at 5 meetings before you can vote, and so you have to pay attention to how some of that is written too.
Oh, that's just a crock of cheese right there.
No,
I've
seen that in play. So it's the kind of thing
to keep you from having a voice.
Right. So if you come every week, you can get to where they hate you long time.
Got it. So okay, so you just tossed over here that Second Amendment and the Firearms Policy Coalition is asking the Supreme Court to hear a Maryland gun challenge.
Well, they said that the Supreme Court, ever since they issued Bruin, they really have been ignoring gun challenges due to the fact that they're waiting for the lower courts to administer all of the pain that Bruin is capable of.
Right.
And then once they feel all of that, then they can move on to the bigger shocking challenge of we're going to change something. But this is an assault rifles bill or something in Maryland.
In Maryland, right.
And so the SAF and the Firearms Policy Coalition and that are asking that they do actually intervene on this. And
please do something, because the lower courts are not going to do something. I mean, because the Supreme Court, given this, and then given the Hawaii one, where's Hawaii? Did you dig that out yet?
I got it hid here because it really disturbs me.
Well, given the Hawaii one, right? And so when you look at this, that means that the Supreme Court is going to have to bring down Thor's hammer on some of these state Supreme Courts, because it's just.
Right, when you blatantly just ignore whatever the Supreme Court says and says that doesn't apply to us, they're going to have to show you that it does apply.
Right. In Hawaii, I want you to hear this because this is classic. Article 1, Section 17 of the Hawaii Constitution mirrors the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution. And then it goes on to say, we read these words differently from the current United States Supreme Court, and we hold that Hawaii, there is no state constitutional right to carry a firearm in public. So it says, yeah, we read the words, we say the words, they are our words, but those words don't have meaning to us. And so when you so Hawaii does not recognize the natural right to armed self-defense. They're like, yeah, no. They do not recognize that the Second Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, that's what it is saying, that they do not recognize the holdings and reasonings of Supreme Court cases Heller, McDonald, and Bruin, and then they declare it doesn't say what it says. Words have meaning, and Hawaii's like, yeah, those I don't hear those
back
words
in the 70s when McGarrett was telling him to book them down. I kind of got that vibe from him then, but he didn't say it out loud, and it's just getting louder and more obnoxious.
And so this is from the Hawaii State Supreme Court. So think about this. The next highest court in the land is the federal Supreme Court. It's the Supreme Court of the United States. And so they're going to have to pick these up. They're going to have to address them, and they cannot allow them to just carry on the way that they're currently carrying on. They cannot. So Clarence Thomas, pull this car over. We're ready. We'll be back.
your front door, your car, your gun. Safety is a habit. Gun safety and responsible storage are no different, and the best way to help prevent accidents, misuse, and theft. Cable locks help keep firearms secured. Learn how to get a free firearm safety kit. Visit projectchildsafe.org. If you have a firearm, own it, respect it, and secure it. Brought to you by the National Shooting Sports Foundation and the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
Hi, I'm Janelle Westrom, owner of Davenport Guns and Davenport Shooting Club. At Davenport Guns, we do so much more than sell firearms. We advocate for increased personal safety and security, not just for you, but your whole family and community. Go to davenportguns.com to see our online inventory and browse videos, articles, and things we just find entertaining. Sign up for our newsletter to learn more.
This is Cheryl Todd of Gun Freedom Radio, and I am proud to join Amanda Suffolcool and all the 50 women, one from each state, in our grassroots efforts to protect the Second Amendment as delegates of the DC Project. Grassroots organizations like the DC Project run on donations, so please consider donating to our GoFundMe/DC Project to keep the promise of freedom alive.
Ladies, ever wish you could find a brand that understood the difference between feminine and functional? A brand that didn't make you choose between looking good and looking tough. Check out offhandgear.com, a brand designed by a gun girl/mom that closed the gap to give you feminine, durable, functional gear. Offhandgear.com, the brand that gets you.
Okay, you ask yourself, who is this Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition, and what do they do? Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition is a not-for-profit group based in Portage County, registered as a 501c3, and organized to educate about the historical intent of the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America, to share knowledge, to enable citizens to accurately relate and defend aspects of the U.S. Constitution, to enhance public awareness and support for responsible gun ownership, and to emphasize firearms education for women who facilitate the transmittal of constitutional awareness and gun ownership to succeeding generations. How do they intend to do that? By talking to you all and having you talk back, by hosting educational summits and events. So tune in, listen, and participate. RealizeFAC.com.
Shotgun with Charlie.
I'm Charlie Cook from Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Conversations in the car about gun safety, freedoms, and even a few laughs. Imagine you're in the back seat listening to an intimate chat with me and my passengers as we drive all around the country. Listen, watch, and subscribe to the Riding Shotgun with Charlie YouTube channel and podcast.
Are you interested in firearms? Are you looking for a resource to help you understand guns? Trying to help someone who's new to the world of shooting? Hi, I'm John Petrolino, 2A writer and the author of Decoding Firearms, an easy-to-read guide on general gun safety and use. Decoding Firearms is a comprehensive book with 266 pages of information. Want to learn more? Visit thepenpatriot.com or get yours today on Amazon in paperback or Kindle.
We are back. So, of all the stories that are coming through this week, Rob, what is the one that you think is either the most absurd or the most reasonable or the most interesting?
Well, the fact that Hawaii just says that we don't believe you. We don't listen to what you got to say.
Flick a booger on you,
but I mean,
right there. No.
New York is the same way. I mean, as soon as Bruin was put out, they changed some of their rules so they could pick some sensitive areas,
places. Yeah.
And so now they're finding out that crime is rampant in these sensitive places. There's nothing they can do about it. They just had some 15 to 20-year-old that's still at large. He shot some tourist. I was going to say a guest, but a tourist in town in the leg, and then when he ran out the store door, the police were there, so he shot at them, and then he ran down the subway and got away. And it's the mayor's response to this is that the violence underscores the need for Times Square to remain a sensitive location. So gun-free zone signs don't help out at all, and they refuse to see any of this.
No, because that it would be if they had a gun. Well, if criminals didn't criminal, let's start there. And so if you said don't do this, and they said okay, and they didn't do that, then that would be one thing. But when you're saying don't break the law, and you already know that they're breaking the law, and so then you put in more laws to tell them not to break more laws, right? And then you expect them to not break laws. The only people who don't break the laws are the law abiding, and then they become victimized, and then they're like, wait, I don't understand how this works.
Well, that's trouble. And then we see on another front where the PLCAA or whatever,
Protection in Lawful Commerce and Arms Act, yes,
tries to keep the American gun industry from being sued into oblivion for no reason, and so
right.
So then now New York or Old Mexico, I guess.
Mexico, the country, not Mexico, not New Mexico,
right.
The state.
So
yes.
Mexico is suing the gun manufacturers because of Fast and Furious, which we know was Obama and the
CIA, Obama, the government intel,
Eric Holder, all these guys doing stuff.
And just for those of you who may not be old enough to just go, oh, Fast and Furious, I know what it is. It was actually a gun running scheme where the government funded it with the intention to make guns show up in places where they shouldn't show up, to then introduce people to get mad enough at it to invoke more gun control. So the end goal was more gun control, and they were going to put more guns out in the hands of bad guys to force the good guys to do that.
So this didn't work. I mean, we have some Border Patrol agents that were killed and everything with these guns, and the guns have showed up on both sides of the border in different crime scenes, but yet nothing's happened there. Now Mexico is suing our gun manufacturers, and
so
the guy,
not the government. They're suing the gun manufacturers for making these evil guns that then got sold.
And so the guy who wrote the legislation for the lawsuit is a guy named Jonathan Lowry, and and he I guess Lowy.
Okay.
Anyhow, he's right now it says head of global actions against violence. He was a Brady gun guy for a while.
Okay, so so he worked on Brady's gun violence.
Yeah, formerly the general counsel and the vice president of Brady's legal team. So but he's written all this stuff, and his whole thing is to he makes it hopes for the lawsuits to clear a way to impose all kinds of new gun control restrictions without a vote in Congress or even unconstitutional executive orders by Joe Biden. So he's trying to make the courts shut this stuff down because of the lawsuits coming from another country.
So in effect, he's a citizen of the United States heading, I would assume, a not-for-profit, the Global Action Against Violence, based in the United States, using United States courts to cause a foreign country to sue members of the United States, using their courts to punish them.
Wouldn't you think that treason would be on this
well, there's that, and
line of
and there should be a spot where the PLCAA law, Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act, should be invoked here. But what happened was when Bushmaster was sued for Sandy Hook, and they started to fight it, and they were using government money and lots of government money, the insurance company said it's just cheaper to settle. And when they did, and when others didn't throw money at it, and when we didn't use the courts to stop them from using federal money, to go after gun companies, then that's what started this. And so what happens is that they may win, they may lose, but in the end, what they do is they starve a company to death with legal fees, with legal bills, and they just stack them up. And as long as they're using somebody else's money, the company just can't keep up. They have to continue to run their company. They have to continue to make money to be able to pay their legal team.
And they don't have taxpayer money.
They don't have never-ending money, which is where the other side has this never-ending supply of money that they use against it. And so there should be a spot where somebody then goes after the Global Action Against Violence and looks at their charter to see what they're doing, because you're right, they are colluding with but they're a global organization. But are they getting any United States grants? Are they using any United States money? And so they are trying for a settlement of $9 billion with a B billion dollars, and I'm sorry, a $10 billion judgment. That's what they want, is a $10 billion to the Mexican government, and the annual revenue for all firearms is $9 billion. So it's more than 1 year's worth of not profit, but 1 year's worth of income for every gun manufacturer that there is what they're going after Mexico. Mexico is going after these gun manufacturers.
And then also got some stuff they want to use, like smart gun technology and other things that don't exist yet also. So there's
and they want to discipline the distribution system. They want a gun registration scheme. They want universal background checks. They want to incorporate all reasonably available safety mechanisms into their guns. And let's figure out, since the whole thing is not reasonable, let's figure out where they define reasonably available. So it really, you watch these and you feel bad about them, and you hope that the organizations like the NRA, Second Amendment Foundation, Firearms Policy Coalition, you hope, Gun Owners of America, you hope that they come in riding their white horses and say, let us help with public sentiment, let us help with fundraising, let us help with the legal bills, let us supply you with lawyers, but let us stand side by side with you, because they have to. But you look at that, you look at what is happening with the NRA and how New York went after them. You look at these, they're trying to use the court system to starve these organizations, these manufacturers, to death.
In the past, this brings me to some of Ronnie Barrett and his 50 caliber stuff with California, where they said you couldn't sell it in the state and everything. And so he just said he wasn't going to sell them any parts or any service or anything. So even their police departments and that couldn't buy them.
Well, and you looked at, wasn't it Magpul that moved out of Colorado after they passed laws?
Yep,
you look
because
at
people could build the stuff, but they couldn't buy any of the stuff. They couldn't buy it.
You look at what's happening where Smith & Wesson is moving out of the New England states.
So you would think that Mexico is going to have trouble in the future buying guns somewhere, I would think.
One would hope.
Okay, you ask yourself, who is this Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition, and what do they do? Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition is a not-for-profit group based in Portage County, registered as a 501c3, and organized to educate about the historical intent of the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America, to share knowledge, to enable citizens to accurately relate and defend aspects of the U.S. Constitution, to enhance public awareness and support for responsible gun ownership, and to emphasize firearms education for women who facilitate the transmittal of constitutional awareness and gun ownership to succeeding generations. How do they intend to do that? By talking to you all and having you talk back, by hosting educational summits and events. So tune in, listen, and participate. RealizeFAC.com.
When people use a firearm in self-defense, they could be arrested or sued and face extensive legal costs. Firearms Legal Protection provides uncapped legal defense for any member who uses a legal weapon in defense of themselves or others, providing members with peace of mind in these difficult situations by covering all attorney fees and other benefits. Use code EOTT at firearmslegal.com for a discount on all membership plans. Protect yourself. We'll protect you.
The Radio Bullseye. And the home for everything Second Amendment, concealed carry, the latest gear, reciprocity, legislation, the right to self-protection, and it shall not be infringed. This is Eye on the Target Radio with your hosts, Rob and Amanda.
Okay, we are back with hour 2 of Eye on the Target Radio, and I just want to say that if you are a frequent listener of our show, you heard it here first in so many cases. And so we talked last week about Maine and the fact that somebody complained, and so the Maine Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife abruptly canceled a class on cleaning and maintaining AR rifles because they said that it was inappropriate in the wake of the Lewiston, Maine mass shooting, and so that it is inappropriate for the agency to teach anyone about these rifles because someone used the rifle in the commission of a crime. So so we talked about it last week, but using that theory, that says that if someone uses a car in the commission of a crime, then we should not teach anybody how to maintain it, how to change the oil, how to pump the gas, and how to wash the windshield. Is that correct?
Well, the public schools pretty much already done that. I mean, there's no shop classes anymore. They don't teach. They don't really have many. What do they call those trade schools out there? So, the younger generation is left on their own to figure out how to run a pizza shop.
Well, they're on their own. So they're on their own. But those who are running a pizza shop are doing pretty good. It's those who are delivering, frequenting, or not frequenting. I don't know. It's just a little bit of this, but it's the interesting part is David Kadria. I can never say his name. Kadria from Ammoland kind of carried this on, and he started to say that, look, if they're bowing to pressure about this, what else are they going to bow to pressure on? What are they going to say is perfectly legal, yet we're not going to do it anymore? We're not going to talk about it anymore because it impacts somebody. This is back to New Jersey in the gun shop.
If you were renting a public building to do something, whether it's a training program or whatever, are they going to allow that now, or is that going to be off limits also? I don't understand. So he is going there. We need to know more. The inquiring minds, remember that? Inquiring minds want to know. And so he has asked for a FOIA request to answer some questions. And so the Maine's Freedom of Access Act, which is FOIA, Freedom of Information in that aspect. And so he's asking for the all communications. He wants so he's gone through this whole thing, and so he wants to know what happened, who did it, why they did it, what caused it, and why did they make this determination to not hold the class, and what basis did they use it on, including, and this one is good, evidence or data that gun safety classes make the public less safe. So he's asking them the hard questions, which is, why did you bow to this? Why did you roll over to this? And and so if you indeed made this decision, then stand up and tell us why you made the decision and what all of that. And so it's like, put them on the hot seat a little bit. I think that that's a good move. On that same note, here's where they say the experts, but actually some of the professor for one of the think tanks is asking that same thing about the Democrats and their push for gun control. They're saying that there's a general distrust for not that there's much of a great deal of trust in the first place, but as they push for more gun control, they get less trust, and then they're saying that
wait. So So here's the quote, and then you can.
Well,
carry
they're
on
saying
this.
about the extremism. They're saying if they push these people they call them extremists, and I don't know what they said in there, but they say that they're pushing these people that are extremists, and then they're saying as they tighten up gun control laws to where people can't get guns, with the amount of mistrust that they have, that they're just forcing more people to be extremists. So it says it isn't making any extremists, but it's almost like they're manufacturing their own extremists by being.
So this is that thing where it's like, I'm drawing the line right here, and then you pushed me, so now I'm drawing the line right here, and then you pushed me, and so now I'm drawing the line right here. But in effect, there's more and more people that are getting behind the line because you don't.
Right, because the people
me.
didn't move, the line keeps moving, and so it's so.
Don't keep shoving me, because you're not gonna like where you shoved me, and you're not gonna like the retaliation and the response.
You're not gonna like where you've been shoving me, and that's the thing, is it's getting worse and worse, and the people don't see it, or they don't.
Well, it's because they have these theories, and the theories are that we can have the utopian world if we don't have any guns. So that's the first theory. And the second theory is that there's other things that you can use instead. So that, if you can't have a gun, because we don't want you to have a gun, go for pepper spray, go for this, go for that. And then, they started that whole crazy thing about the can of bug spray, because you could stop them with bug spray. You could stop a bad guy with bug spray, which was not true, unless you did a bug spray and a lighter. But that's a whole different.
But then it says right on the thing that it's a federal crime to use that bug spray in a manner that's not consistent with its labeling.
Well, that's because somebody came up with this brilliant idea. But yes, so there was that. But we have a story here by Dean Weingarten that says that even bear spray doesn't stop bears, so it's not going to stop people. So the bear
is what's the motivation behind the stuff?
The bear was hungry.
If the bear is determined to eat you, bear spray is not going to cause him much discomfort. If he was just nosy, then he may decide he's got someplace else to
go. Well, in this case, he did a Taylor Swift, and he just kind of shook it off. Right. And then he came back at them, and he captured 2 women and held them down, playing with them. Well, with bare teeth, playing with them. So it wasn't that we're playing patty cake. It was playing with them with bare teeth.
The thing is if you look at something that weighs 1,000 pounds, their playing is just a little bit rougher than you can.
No, he was holding on to them for lunch, and it was that, but. It's the idea. It really is the idea that if bear spray doesn't work on bears and pepper spray doesn't work on peppers, then where are we? Sometimes we have to stop someone from vilifying or victimizing us.
Well, and the police, if you look at it, they have stages of retaliation, which include
up to and including, right?
And
yep.
stuff like that. But once they find that doesn't work, they advance to the next step and to the next step.
Right, but they don't want us to have the next step.
Kill you back. So it's the kind of thing that, why is it that
we are not allowed to have we live in free America, and so we are allowed to have it. But there are states that are trying very hard to make it to where you cannot. They do not want them, and that they believe that these less than lethal solutions are the only acceptable solutions. So what happens is that it's less than lethal to the guy attacking you, and it becomes lethal to you.
Right.
And so that's the part that I don't understand, how we can cause them to understand it, because it hasn't come to their front door. It hasn't come to their community. It hasn't come to their friendship circle. And so they can just easily ignore it, not give it any credence,
there, we fixed that, and then go on about their business, even though it wasn't fixed, and
they
multiple people are paid the price for it because they thought that they had it under control.
And And then they get to walk away with their security team, and you don't have any recourse. You don't have the money to pay. Where's the Cori Bush article? Oh, where she said, suck it up. She wants gun control. She wants the police to be defunded. And yet she is spending $200,000 a year and in causing people to defend her, to protect her, and to keep her safe. But we are not worth that. We are not. And her answer is, I'm going to make sure that I have security because I know I have attempts on my life and I have too much work to do. So if I end up spending $200,000, if I spend $10 more, $20 more, you know what? I'm going to be there to do the work. So suck it up, and defunding the police
Grab your
has
friends and
to
head
happen.
to Georgia to train with the Complete Combatant. The Complete Combatant offers a unique approach to self-defense training, layering the first signs of danger, lethal versus non-lethal decisions, and even surviving the aftermath. They offer premier firearms training with a range master certified instructor and host the top minds in our industry. See the courses offered on thecompletecombatant.com. That's thecompletecombatant.com.
Hi, I'm Janelle Westrom, owner of Davenport Guns and Davenport Shooting Club. At Davenport Guns, we do so much more than sell firearms. We advocate for increased personal safety and security, not just for you, but your whole family and community. Go to DavenportGuns.com to see our online inventory and browse videos, articles, and things we just find entertaining. Sign up for our newsletter to learn more.
Your front door, your car, your gun. Safety is a habit. Gun safety and responsible storage are no different, and the best way to help prevent accidents, misuse, and theft. Cable locks help keep firearms secured. Learn how to get a free firearm safety kit. Visit projectchildsafe.org. If you have a firearm, own it, respect it, and secure it. Brought to you by the National Shooting Sports Foundation and the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
I'm Charlie Cook from Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Conversations in the car about gun safety, freedoms, and even a few laughs. Imagine you're in the back seat listening to an intimate chat with me and my passengers as we drive all around the country. Listen, watch, and subscribe to the Riding Shotgun with Charlie YouTube channel and podcast.
This is Cheryl Todd of Gun Freedom Radio, and I am proud to join Amanda Seppacool and all the 50 women, one from each state, in our grassroots efforts to protect the Second Amendment as delegates of the DC Project. Grassroots organizations like the DC Project run on donations, so please consider donating to our GoFundMe/DC Project to keep the promise of freedom alive.
Are you interested in firearms? Are you looking for a resource to help you understand guns? Trying to help someone who's new to the world of shooting? Hi, I'm John Petrolino, 2A writer and the author of Decoding Firearms, an easy-to-read guide on general gun safety and use. Decoding Firearms is a comprehensive book with 266 pages of information. Want to learn more? Visit thepenpatriot.com or get yours today on Amazon in paperback or Kindle.
Ladies, ever wish you could find a brand that understood the difference between feminine and functional? A brand that didn't make you choose between looking good and looking tough. Check out offhandgear.com, a brand designed by a gun girl/mom that closed the gap to give you feminine, durable, functional gear. Offhandgear.com, the brand that gets you.
We all know rust is bad. To help keep rust from forming on your firearms, tools, and other ferrous-based items, you want to have Rust is Bad in your gun-safe toolbox and anywhere you want to be rust-free. Rust is Bad bolsters and G-strings deposit small, safe particles that coat your rust-vulnerable items. Save your valuable items with Rust is Bad. Go to www.IamTheTargetRadio.com and follow the link for more information. That's www.IamTheTargetRadio.com for Rust is Bad.
Okay, so we've gotten a statement made by Alan Gottlieb from the Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms, CCRKBA. Not like they named their organization. It is what it does. It's not a nice short little organization name, but the CCRKBA organization and Alan Gottlieb. I know it's taken me it's like 2 all beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, and a sesame seed bun. It's taken me a while to figure out how to organize that in my head.
It doesn't have a cool jingle like that, otherwise everybody would be singing
We'd
it.
remember it, right. So he made a statement on the string of freeway shootings that are taking place in the Seattle area. And so he says that these shootings are happening and you can't blame them on a lack of gun laws, because the state has adopted a lot of gun laws in recent years, proving that none of them actually work. Imagine. So in 2014, they passed Initiative 594, which mandated background checks on all gun transfers. And then 4 years later, then they did Initiative 1639, which restricted the sale of semi-automatic rifles to adults over 21, required proof of gun safety training, gun registration, and so they've made it harder for the law-abiding to have guns. And the end result in the Seattle area, in the Washington State area, is that homicides have gone up. How can that be? Well, it's because the law-abiding cannot defend themselves, and so they become prey. That's my editorial. So in 2015, the city of Seattle adopted a gun and ammunition tax to raise money for anti-violence efforts. And the end result for that is that Seattle homicides have tripled since they started the anti-violence efforts. And in Olympia, which is in Washington also, the Democrat-controlled legislature passed legislation banning so-called large-capacity magazines and assault weapons. They extended the waiting period to 10 days on all gun purchases. And we're going to find out where that result is. But I'm going to call it already. I'm going to call it that, and the homicides have gone up. That's where that's going to be.
Well, so, then the two is, as the homicides go up, the more people are going to try to get guns and concealed carry permits and everything. Right. So they drive it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, as they say. And
right. So what happens is then more people are going to want to buy guns, and then the gun control people are like, look, people are trying to buy guns. We've got to stop that. And so this is a problem. So law-abiding gun owners and guns themselves are not at fault, and they shouldn't be penalized. So the interesting part is Gottlieb, for the last 30 years, has championed an initiative of 3 strikes and hard time for armed crime. So that we start to punish the criminals and not the firearms themselves.
How can that be?
It's a concept. It's a concept. And so you're seeing concealed carry licenses requests go up. You're seeing people jump through all the hoops to be able to get that. And the interesting part is are you seeing on the news a lot of coverage about these active shooters on the highway? Have you
I haven't
seen
seen anything about it.
Exactly.
That article, so they're keeping it quiet.
So would
if
that,
you live in that neighborhood, you might know about it. But
other than that, we're not talking about it. And
nationally, it's a
secret. It's a secret. Seattle has a problem, but it's a secret because it's not going cross country. It's not being, the news is not getting out, and because other political vehicles could help. that there's that spot where you get, you try to work on a law or a bill. There's people that give you support, but if they don't know anything about it, that support is not forthcoming, and you're on your own. So there is a spot where I'm sorry to say, Seattle, if people don't know about it, there is nobody else that's coming to help. So you need to make sure that the word gets out. You need to make sure that people know. And that, so we as American citizens should stand with one another, and that one municipality or one town or one state or one thing should not...
We've seen this in the Jaws movies where the mayor kept trying to keep it quiet because there's no need to set panic in before the holiday season, and then
we don't want to ruin tourist season, so we're just not telling anybody.
So he brought all the tourists in to feed the sharks, and it didn't go good for him. And this is basically the same script line. They just changed a couple people, and the shark lost his job, and
somebody else. It's bad, it's sad, and it's telling all at the same time. It really is. And so, folks, you need to pay attention to who's talking, who's not talking, why they're not talking, and who's standing up for you and who's not.
And they do things really slipperily as they do it. Here's an article in Michigan where they allowed you to have concealed carry in the court, or in the federal building or whatever, because there was no courtroom there. And then once they found out that you could bring your gun in, then they decided to put a courtroom in there to try to block everyone from being able to bring their gun in. So
got it. So it's like, this is the I remember years ago, you were not allowed to carry any place in Ohio that had a roof that had it posted, but you could carry outside of someplace that had a roof. And so to go onto the fairgrounds grounds, they built a little roof that you had to go under to be able to get there. So it looked like they were being nice to the ticket takers at the fair, but actually what they were doing is they were building the anti-gun, I will disarm you roof for every gate. So we'll be back right after these messages.
6 says that Feinstein claimed that she was an expert on guns because she'd seen thousands of pictures of them.
Grab your friends and head to Georgia.
And then he went on to say that may make him a gynecologist because pictures, We'll just move on from that.
Firearms training with a range master certified instructor and hosts the top minds in our industry. See the courses offered on thecompletecombatant.com. That's thecompletecombatant.com.
Are you interested in firearms? Are you looking for a resource to help you understand guns? Trying to help someone who's new to the world of shooting? Hi, I'm John Petrolino, 2A writer and the author of Decoding Firearms, an easy-to-read guide on general gun safety and use. Decoding Firearms is a comprehensive book with 266 pages of information. Want to learn more? Visit thepenpatriot.com or get yours today on Amazon in paperback or Kindle.
Okay, you ask yourself, who is this Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition, and what do they do? Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition is a not-for-profit group based in Portage County, registered as a 501c3, and organized to educate about the historical intent of the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America, to share knowledge, to enable citizens to accurately relate and defend aspects of the U.S. Constitution, to enhance public awareness and support for responsible gun ownership, and to emphasize firearms education for women who facilitate the transmittal of constitutional awareness and gun ownership to succeeding generations. How do they intend to do that? By talking to you all and having you talk back, by hosting educational summits and events. So tune in, listen, and participate. RealizeFAC.com.
Ladies, ever wish you could find a brand that understood the difference between feminine and functional? a brand that didn't make you choose between looking good and looking tough. Check out offhandgear.com, a brand designed by a gun girl / mom that closed the gap to give you feminine, durable, functional gear. Offhandgear.com, the brand that gets you.
We all know rust is bad. To help keep rust from forming on your firearms, tools, and other ferrous-based items, you want to have Rust is Bad in your gun-safe toolbox and anywhere you want to be rust-free. Rust is Bad bolsters and G-strings deposit small, safe particles that coat your rust-vulnerable items. Save your valuable items with Rust is Bad. Go to www.eyeonthetargetradio.com and follow the link for more information. That's www.eyeonthetargetradio.com for Rust is Bad.
Your front door, your car, your gun. Safety is a habit. Gun safety and responsible storage are no different, and the best way to help prevent accidents, misuse, and theft. Cable locks help keep firearms secured. Learn how to get a free firearm safety kit. Visit projectchildsafe.org. If you have a firearm, own it, respect it, and secure it. Brought to you by the National Shooting Sports Foundation and the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
Shotgun with Charlie.
I'm Charlie Cook from Riding Shotgun with Charlie. Conversations in the car about gun safety, freedoms, and even a few laughs. Imagine you're in the backseat listening to an intimate chat with me and my passengers as we drive all around the country. Listen, watch, and subscribe to the Riding Shotgun with Charlie YouTube channel and podcast.
Okay, so we're back, and so I went back through this article where you're talking about how sneaky they're trying to be in Michigan to keep people, because so what happens is that the courthouse and the county buildings, you're allowed to carry. You just so you cannot carry. I'm sorry, you cannot carry in a courthouse, but any other, the county commissioners' chambers, all the city chambers, all of those kind of things, you can. And so they're trying to slide around in during this. This is a county that it contains Flint, Michigan. So the interesting part is that Flint has all of these other issues that are going on, and the city council chambers, is restricting access to the city council chambers is kind of a solution in search of a problem, trying to figure out how you're going to...
They're slippery.
They're slippery. Sneakily. They will sneakily try to do something like that.
Well, it's funny because sometimes they act like they want to help a certain way, and then they do something to block it so that it looks like it's someone else's fault, but in the meantime, you don't get to do it, but they was like, oh,
not my fault, man.
We're so sorry that
this other person is is the cause of all your angst and problems, but we'd help if we could, but we can't, so we won't, and so you're on your own. Sorry, it stinks to be you. There is, right?
It stinks to be you. That's a famous saying.
Well, there is some of that. Let's see. So here's an interesting thing, and this is moving kind of across the country, and I think it's a good thing to solve a bad thing. And in what year was it that Joe Biden, as a senator, initiated the school safety programs to not allow firearms in schools or anywhere near schools or on the roads in front of schools?
I think that was in '92 when they were working on at the beginning of the crime bill.
They're trying to do the crime bill. So okay, so they did this school safety to make schools safer. Well, one, it hasn't, and two, it has actually encouraged more violence. Though there had been prior to that violence in schools, but there were people that potentially had the ability to defend those schools. And so So programs like Faster Saves Lives have documented proof. People like Dr. John Lott have documented proof that an active killer stops when someone pushes back. And so they stop for a couple different ways. They either give up, they self-terminate.
If John Lott has done any studies as to how many school shootings were before that versus after that, and if it had any bearing on the
The problem is the data is very muddied, because prior to it, there was not a category for school shootings to be able to do a search for school shootings. It was a shooting in a town that then so you had to dig deeper and look more. Okay, but they were there. There was some, but there's that. The second part is that the definition of school shootings just keeps shifting, and so now does the school have to be in session? Do you have to have students in the school? Can it take place in the playground after school hours?
I've seen where sometimes they try to bundle it in. So if it was after school hours, or a gang was shooting it out on the school property, even if it was like at the bus garage or something,
that's
classified as a school shooting.
The drug deals gone wrong in the parking lot after school hours, 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock, midnight, right? Those are also categories. So sorting it, because anything that they can put in the bucket to make it look worse. So 1 is bad. There is no acceptable number. 0 is the only acceptable answer. And so schools are starting to push back, and so in a variety of states, they are allowing there's armed school resource officers, but they're also allowing armed staff. So the lunch lady, the bus driver, the school administrator, the janitor, and teachers. So they're allowing that. So right now, Nebraska's having conversations, Alaska's having conversations, Iowa's having conversations, in addition to the states that are already currently doing it.
You were saying about the administrators. I can remember we took some Alice training years ago, and
oh my goodness,
the school administrator, he was such a comical guy.
He was wearing patent leather loafer dress shoes for an active killer training response class. And
he wanted to look the part and have the right dress and everything. But to watch him try to run down the hallway like this, and
it didn't help that his hands were in the air and he was screaming. But it looked
more like a Benny Hill skit than it did
it didn't look like I'm coming to help. It looked like he was just screaming, "We're all going to die, we're all going to die, we're all going to die." Right? Yes. So there was, and he was being trained to be the responder. I'm not sure he passed.
We've taken some Alice training, we've taken the Faster training, we've done quite a few of these different things.
Different programs.
There's a lot of good stuff in this. And it's not for everyone. Not everybody gets up in the morning and says that they can be Superman and try to intervene on a school shooting or something like this.
Right.
But some people can at least be a hall monitor to try to usher people out, or to try to administer
first aid
and stuff like this. And it's one of the programs we were in. They did a drill without any communications at all, and then they did a drill afterwards by someone in the office telling what they knew about where things were happening and what was going on. It was so much more helpful knowing which hallways.
Because you knew which hallways. Because then what happened was
you can evacuate the other ones and get the people out of the buildings and stuff. Where when you don't know nothing. You don't want to move because you don't know where anything's happening.
You don't know where they're at. It's sort of like playing hide and seek when you hear nothing and you're like, okay, I got to hold perfectly still because I don't know, are they near or are they not near? It really is that kind of a thing where you're just holding your breath and trying to figure it out. So I applaud these states who are looking for answers. They're looking for ways that they can protect. I mean, to
also,
me,
you got to applaud the school administrators and the lunch lady and the janitors and anybody who's willing to
volunteering.
step up and play this part, because it doesn't pay any extra.
Right.
It's just that you're already there. You're a first responder, and if you can help, it's going to It's going to help.
Yeah, it's going to stop the mayhem before it really gets a good foothold. So, I mean, because we know that it's a sad state that if you are a teacher, your heart is with your students. I mean, you don't get into teaching for the money. You get into teaching because it is a calling. You are driven to want to work with these kids, that want to expand their minds, want to protect them, want to work with them. And so it is a calling. And so we have seen in some of these active killer situations where people will run with no means of stopping the event besides their body, will run toward an active killer, will put themselves between their students and the active killer, will hold a door shut so others can run, will try to tackle somebody. They are willing to die to protect their students. And these schools are giving them the tools that allow them to protect their students and yet giving them a chance to survive at the same time. And so I don't discount the strength that it takes.
As soon as, in most cases, as soon as the active killer runs into some kind of opposition, they usually stop themselves. Either they give up or they kill themselves at that point. So they're not prepared for an armed conflict with someone who's going to shoot back.
And they're not prepared for pushback. And so by the more pushback there is, and the more information that pushback exists in those
sometimes
schools,
it will deter someone from even bothering to start, because they don't know which schools are covered, which ones aren't, and which people are the people and which ones aren't. So secrecy is of prime.
It has value. It is also part of the defensive tool. It was really funny, not funny. I had a conversation with somebody, and they were like, "Well, if we protect the schools this way, they'll just move to something else that isn't protected." I'm like,
Did you slap them?
No, but I was like,
and you realize that they're going to look for a soft target, but maybe we need to look at all these soft targets. So
and start to harden them.
Hospitals, old folks' homes, wherever.
I just wanted to say, so you have sacrificial children? Is that where you're going with this? Because it was like the craziest explanation for why they were against it that I had ever heard in my entire life. And it was
some people just don't think the situation through before they shoot their mouth off. So maybe it wasn't that they were insensitive, or they were just...
Well, they were insensitive, but okay. I think they were just wrong. We'll be back.
Hi, I'm Janelle Westrom, owner of Davenport Guns and Davenport Shooting Club. At Davenport Guns, we do so much more than sell firearms. We advocate for increased personal safety and security, not just for you, but your whole family and community. Go to davenportguns.com to see our online inventory and browse videos, articles, and things we just find entertaining. Sign up for our newsletter to learn more.
This is Cheryl Todd of Gun Freedom Radio, and I am proud to join Amanda Suffolcool and all the 50 women, one from each state, in our grassroots efforts to protect the Second Amendment as delegates of the DC Project. Grassroots organizations like the DC Project run on donations, so please consider donating to our GoFundMe/DC Project to keep the promise of freedom alive.
Ladies, ever wish you could find a brand that understood the difference between feminine and functional, a brand that didn't make you choose between looking good and looking tough. Check out offhandgear.com, a brand designed by a gun girl / mom that closed the gap to give you feminine, durable, functional gear. Offhandgear.com, the brand that gets you.
We all know rust is bad. To help keep rust from forming on your firearms, tools, and other ferrous-based items, you want to have Rust is Bad in your gun-safe toolbox and anywhere you want to be rust-free. Rust is Bad bolsters and G-strings deposit small, safe particles that coat your rust-vulnerable items. Save your valuable items with Rust is Bad. Go to www.eyeonthetargetradio.com and follow the link for more information. That's www.eyeonthetargetradio.com for Rust is Bad.
Okay, you ask yourself, who is this Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition and what do they do? Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition is a not-for-profit group based in Portage County, registered as a 501c3 and organized to educate about the historical intent of the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America, to share knowledge, to enable citizens to accurately relate and defend aspects of the U.S. Constitution, to enhance public awareness and support for responsible gun ownership, and to emphasize firearms education for women who facilitate the transmittal of constitutional awareness and gun ownership to succeeding generations. How do they intend to do that? By talking to you all and having you talk back, by hosting educational summits and events. So tune in, listen, and participate. RealizeFAC.com.
Your front door, your car, your gun. Safety is a habit. Gun safety and responsible storage are no different, and the best way to help prevent accidents, misuse, and theft. Cable locks help keep firearms secured. Learn how to get a free firearm safety kit. Visit projectchildsafe.org. If you have a firearm, own it, respect it, and secure it. Brought to you by the National Shooting Sports Foundation and the Bureau of Justice Assistance.
Grab your friends and head to Georgia to train with the Complete Combatant. The Complete Combatant offers a unique approach to self-defense training, layering the first signs of danger, lethal versus non-lethal decisions, and even surviving the aftermath. They offer premier firearms training with a range master certified instructor and host the top minds in our industry. See the courses offered on thecompletecombatant.com. That's thecompletecombatant.com.
Okay, so we are back, and next week, the next 2 weeks, Rob and I are both on the road, and we are going to, so first, the shows that you guys are going to hear were additional bonus episodes that we had recorded at SHOT Show in January. And so there's a lot of very interesting interviews and people that you're gonna hear. Pay attention to the fact that the background noise is not something I can control. It is in a giant venue, and so you're gonna get a little bit of
the guy
that.
from Montana is gonna sway you into moving, and
the governor of Montana, the attorney general of Indiana could be somebody.
He did a pretty good job too. But
I was going to say he could be somebody who's my new best friend. there is that. But so yeah, as we start to put some of the stuff together, I put the John Crump interview into the first week. So there's some pretty darn good stuff that is in these interviews, and you're gonna like them. And we interviewed a guy with a company that's the dry vapor cleaner. So it's like a steam cleaner for firearms. And so he's shipping one. Did I tell you this? I didn't tell you this. He's shipping one to me in Florida.
He was showing us working on cleaning the carbon off of an AR-15 bolt head, and it just melted right off. So it was, I was impressed with that because I've chipped away at some of those for...
Yeah, I think that the part that I was most impressed by was the fact that he took your pocket knife and he started cleaning it, and just the amount of gunk that came out of the middle of the knife was disturbing. But there is that. So because we are doing those shows, I just want you to know that I'm going to, Ambassadors Academy is happening in Western Orlando Firearms Training Academy, WAFT. And so for any of you guys who want to go to one of the premier firearms training schools, this one in Florida is pretty cool, pretty bougie, and I get to be a teacher at this. So I'm pretty impressed. I'm pretty happy, because when I'm not teaching, I get to go stand in and watch everybody else's classes. So I'm like, potentially I'm the student, I'm the teacher, I flip back and forth wherever I am, and it's just days and days of learning. Lots of learning. And then the following week is the 2A Freedom Fest that's taking place. So if you want information about that, if you're in Florida, it is on February 24th, and it is the 2A Freedom Fest. We've got Kevin Sona, and Kevin is lined up a group of speakers that he's got Shirley Wattrell, he's got Mike Piwowski, he's got Patrick Collins.
They have a good list of speakers all the time. There's good content in there. It's if you look at it, if you look for this 2A Freedom Fest on Facebook, you can find the details and stuff about it.
The link and the details, yes. And so it is very much worth.
If you're in Florida, it's worth the trip. It's worth the
It is.
over.
It's worth a drive in some direction to get to there. So there is that. I started looking at this, and it was like this week. So let's see. What is Kevin saying? Oh, so Kevin made a post to our page here, and he's saying that they're giving back. Oh, so what they're doing is they're actually doing a food drive, and so at Runaway Campers, who is hosting the event, there is a food drive. So bring a can of tuna or a couple or something that is non-perishable, so that the firearms community is giving back to the community of Florida. So I think that's cool. And because of that, somebody's donated a gun, and so if you come, you get a ticket. If you bring food, you get a ticket. So there's ways
you might have a chance to win something.
There's ways to get a ticket, and so all of that. So just showing up.
But it's a lot of fun, and even if you're outside, there's a lot of elbow rubbing that goes on. So you'll meet all kinds of two-way people.
And it's really interesting that you get to meet people who. There are people that are in the industry that are doing things all over the place, and they travel to Florida to be with Kevin, to work with Kevin, and to support the efforts that he's doing. I've been coming for a couple, 3-4 years, and it's always, people have come from California, people have come from Michigan, people are coming Ohio. So yeah, they're coming from wide variety.
I know Texas. When we were down there, Texas and Louisiana, people were driving across.
So it really is a place to see and be seen. And then, like I said, the Western Orlando Firearms Training, I get to do some low light stuff. Their force on force stuff. There is they have a hand-to-hand combat and a blade.
You're gonna remember to take your clothes this time, or are you going training? We have to buy all your stuff.
Okay, that needs an explanation, kids. So the last time I went to go for training, I had my range bag and my suitcase by the front door when a snake got in my house. And so I was so traumatized by the snake that my husband got it. He got it outside. I was still traumatized. I got in my car and I left. So I got clear to where I was going. And I looked over and realized I didn't take anything, right? I'd gotten in the car. There was a snake in my house. I'm not in my house. So I just left. And so I had to go to Walmart and buy clothes. I had to borrow everything. I had to borrow guns, gear, and everything. But I was at least wearing range appropriate shoes but it was, I was there, and then I went.
Things happen.
I was like, uh-oh.
Maybe you should put your car keys in your suitcase so that you're sure you got them both the same time.
Believe me, I have. Just recently, I we flew back from Vegas, and then my husband was going to Florida, and so I drove down with them, and then I'm flying back, and I thought, did I grab my wallet? Am I going to be able to fly home, or do I have to, I don't know what, right? So yeah, it was, sometimes I need a keeper. We'll just say that. Though you have to say that these are how adventures are made.
Right. Well, if everything goes perfectly, you never remember any of it. But it's the stuff that flies apart. When you go to the hotel and find out that there's no towels or that they don't have a room for you, even though they said they did or something.
Remember that time?
You remember those times.
Remember that little guy that was standing on the desk at the Hertz rental car going, people, I know that the website said we have rental cars, but we don't have any rental cars. And there was like this semicircle of really
200 people standing there waiting to get a rental car.
Angry. 200 angry people waiting to get a rental car. Yeah, there was no sense of humor in the room. Nothing. But yeah, those are the ones you remember for sure. But I don't know. So it's always good to be on the road, to be able to have an opportunity to talk to people and to see them and to see different gun people doing different gun things.
You know, it's funny. We were out at SHOT Show, and we met some people that were starting doing podcasts, stuff like this, and just the little bit of information that we could give them to help them meet other people, it made a huge difference in their trip to Vegas for that time. So the one guy, we says, meet us at the media room at 7:30 in the morning, and then we handed him off to a couple of our friends, and then we asked them to hand them off to a couple of their friends. So the guy probably met 25, 30 people that day that he would have not met in a 5-year period had he
not
tried to do it on his own, you know?
Well, and it wasn't necessarily us. It is just give somebody a hand up. So Kevin just made a message that says that Rob and Kevin are having a beard comparing contest, and that I am going to be one of the speakers. So they know that I'm going to be one of the speakers because I cannot shut up.
I have to talk.
Because I have to talk. That's if there's a microphone, I want to have it, right? So my listeners, they know.
Right. If there's a gun in the room, I want to be in charge of that. If there's a microphone, I want to be in charge of that.
I want in charge of that. It's just, life is simple that way. We'll see you next week, folks.
Okay, you ask yourself, who is this Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition, and what do they do? Realize Firearms Awareness Coalition is a not-for-profit group based in Portage County, registered as a 501c3, and organized to educate about the historical intent of the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States of America, to share knowledge, to enable citizens to accurately relate and defend aspects of the U.S. Constitution, to enhance public awareness and support for responsible gun ownership, and to emphasize firearms education for women who facilitate the transmittal of constitutional awareness and gun ownership to succeeding generations. How do they intend to do that? By talking to you all and having you talk back, by hosting educational summits and events. So tune in, listen, and participate. Realize FAC